Pennsylvania, the Keystone State. Yet could it also be the keystone to unlocking many of the unknown mysteries? In this show, we'll be discussing all of the haunts, local legends, and unknown phenomena that have happened right here in our very own backyard. I'm your host, Matt Boyer, a senior investigator in the paranormal field.
And I'm Jacob Bacasa, a junior investigator.
And this is Unearthing the Unknown. Well, Jake, we're back outside. And for once, folks, I am not going to make fun of you for it being cold.
Oh, really?
Really.
I wonder why.
Well, so today's episode's a little bit different. We are not doing this at night like how we usually. It is daytime. There is a little bit of sun behind the clouds. But
Good
also...
observation, Captain Obvious.
Yeah, I know, right? But also, while we're recording this, it happens to be around 0 degrees outside. A few degrees above. Earlier, it was -10 when I was up this morning.
From what I remember, yeah. Hold on.
So I am not going to complain because of it being very, very cold.
It says it's currently -11.
Hey, then we better make sure that this is a quick first take kind of thing, so we don't freeze to death.
Alrighty.
But anyhow, today's episode's also a little different because for once, I am not telling the story. Jake, you get to tell your first story.
But like our last episode, which should be out by now?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Like our last episode, it is going to be a personal experience. Whether you want to call this paranormal or whatnot, or like even want to like take my story with a grain of salt,
yeah, go
ahead. This is what I experienced with a group of friends, footage I captured of it, which he'll probably get into in a second. Yeah. But there's a lot behind this story. That I'd like to get into.
And we are on location, correct?
We are on
all
location.
Right.
So again, this won't make sense until we get into the story, so I'm gonna roll right into it and just explain.
Before we do that, so where we're actually on the back dirt road behind the Dupre building here at Saint Vincent College.
This road doesn't have a name, does it? I've always wondered that.
No, okay. as far as I'm aware of, it's just known as like the back.
It's the back dirt road.
Yeah. So this is the road that goes right next to Saint Vincent Cemetery and ends up right behind the Science Pavilion, as well as right next to Sauerkraut Tower. So that's where we're at today. We will be getting off of St. Vincent in the upcoming episodes, but this is one of the last ones that we have. We got one or two more.
I think it's like a good transition point between like us telling personal stories.
We're technically off campus, but we're right next to campus. So we haven't gone far. But anyhow, Jake, get into the story for us.
So it's just over a year ago at this point. It was November 6th, 2023. And I remember specifically because I got documentation of it, video evidence. It was just the day we were scheduling. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So,
day that you would have been scheduling. I would have already scheduled.
He's older than me. Yeah. I'm
Keep
a junior.
Keep talking.
So we were scheduling and we were just kind of just doing our own thing when a buddy of mine comes into my room and says to me and my roommate, do you guys want to head out to the cemetery for like a late night adventure sort of thing? And I looked to him and he's like, you want to go? Because personally, I really wanted to, because late night adventure in a cemetery, come on, that just sounds really fun.
Always is. It's do it all the time.
Yeah, so it's like the opportunity to do that, as well as like we had somebody else there, another one of our friends. I looked at him and they asked, hey, do you want to go? My personal roommate said no, he didn't want to mess with it going into the cemetery at night. But the other guy that was there said, you know what, yeah, I'll come along. So it was me, him, our buddy, or the buddy who initiated this, Michael, and then 2 other friends of ours. We all head off into the cemetery to go and do our thing.
Mind you, he knew I was into this stuff and didn't invite me. Ouch.
I think
kidding.
No,
kidding.
Well, I think this was before.
No,
either it was before or maybe what, I don't remember.
I'm messing with you.
Yeah, I know. But so yeah, we get out, we're heading out there and everything. Well, again, mind you, we were not expecting what we saw that night.
Right.
So
you're just expecting a fun, dark night hanging out. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're getting out there and I decide, hey, for the funny, for the memories, I'm going to film it. I'm just going to get some footage of us like just goofing off on this little adventure excursion into the graveyard. And everything's going pretty well. We're looking for a specific statue, which I think we were planning.
The Lady of Our Prom statue, which we will be telling in a different story.
We could tie this back into, well, not really. it's connected because we were trying to find it because Michael had heard of the story of it being able to cry blood, so that's what we were looking for. Instead, we find what was the statue again? The other one that's in there?
St. Joseph statue.
St. Joseph, yeah. I called it Saint, or I called
You were saying that was Saint Benedict or
Saint,
Boniface.
Boniface woman.
But yeah, no, it's Saint Joseph.
Statue of Saint Joseph. We ended up finding that, and we're messing around with it. Prior to that, even we had a first initial scare with just a couple other guys who were there.
Yeah,
had their hoods up, were wearing like dark black or just black hoodies. Again, had their hoods up.
as is always fun.
We got scared crapless because we thought that was like the monks or something. Or we thought like just something like guys with their hoods up could not be good.
Yeah,
whether it be the monks or what have you.
Yeah,
we thought we were gonna get busted or something for something. But we get to the St. Joseph statue. We're there. We're messing around for a bit, and we're walking away from that because we didn't find what we were looking for. So we decided to go do something else. Right next to here, we end up coming like the way the cemetery goes is there's a road that kind of like goes parallel to this one, and there's like plots of land with graves and
it's one of the roads that goes around the cemetery.
Yeah, it's actually like again like directly in front of like / parallel to
where we're at now. Yeah, we know where we're at
and everything. Yeah, so we're there. We're looking around. These graves look old and everything. We're making comments about that sort of thing, and then Michael has. He did something a little weird that I still don't know what was going through his head about, but he's like over right here is a tree line which Michael was looking into. He was like kind of staring off, like looking at this way, had his flashlight there. We're all looking at him like, Michael, what are you doing, man? And he just starts trudging in. He just starts walking in out of nowhere. For a second, I was like, "Is this dude possessed or something?" Like,
you knew what I was thinking.
Like, is he like what compelled him to go that way? But we're following him, and for what feels like a lot longer than it was, we're coming down along here, and finally we get to this road right here.
Yeah.
Now, we're all standing here like, great, we're here now. What are we gonna do next? Mind you, I'm still recording at this moment, and have my phone up like this, and I'm kind of just looking around, and then I turn over towards that way, and right along this tree line, or even like in this area in general, I saw through my camera because the sky and the ground were like differentiated colors. Like the sky was like a light gray and the earth was like dark black. And I just see something like lumber or like try to sneakily run across the road back here, and it freaks me out. I saw something move that looked like a humanoid creature, kind of like lurking, trying to get like past us without.
Kind of like the Scooby-Doo.
Just like kind of creeping around or something. It freaked me out really bad because I wasn't sure if I was seeing anything or if I actually did see like an animal or a creature or something. And I alert the rest of the group. I freak out and say, I just saw something run across the road over there. I don't know what it was. We're all on high alert now because I said that. Michael's looking off over there. And he just takes off running in the direction I see this thing.
Yeah.
And we all follow him because we're thinking like, Michael, what are you doing? Why? No time to explain. Just run after him. Almost a second later, he doubles back, runs towards Dupre and says, "Oh my God, I saw something too." Which what he saw, according to him, was this, whatever this thing was, go the opposite way.
Interesting.
So it went like back and forth, trying to scare us. I don't like. Again, take this with as much grain of salt as you want. That's what I saw. Now, the weirdest part about all of this is when we get back, because my phone was on a low percentage of battery.
Yeah.
And because I wasn't expecting us to be out there that long, how much footage I was going to record. We finally get to our dorm room at the time. My phone completely dies. And I'm like, okay, I'll check the footage later, because in past experiences, when my phone has died, the footage has been saved in my phone.
Right.
Again, take this with a grain of salt. I'm not sure if it's the same experience as anybody else.
Is that your new catchphrase? Take this with a grain of salt?
Yes.
You've said that like 5 times.
Well, because, again...
I know how you are. How you are. Anyhow, get back to it. So phone's dead.
Charge it back up like almost an hour later. I'm trying to go through the footage because I want to see this thing. I want to brighten the footage, like analyze it as much as I can, see if I actually saw something. The entire over 11-minute clip of that experience completely corrupted.
Yeah.
Like a white block of just nothing.
Yep.
Never experienced that before in my entire life. Just freaked everybody else out because I was still with them. We went on a late night sheep run afterwards.
Yeah. You're trying to wrap your head around this still.
Well, not even that. Like, I've come to accept it. It's just a matter of like, yeah, this happened.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened.
All right. Anything else with the stories? Is that it?
That's completely it.
Okay. So this is actually a very neat thing because there's a few different possibilities of what Jake and his entire group saw. Now, one thing could be that you experience a shadow spirit, a shadow figure. Okay? That is usually some kind of...
Have those been reported here?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
People have seen stuff like that. Anyhow,
Woo.
that is one possibility. Now, a shadow spirit is usually pretty much like a dark figure, almost like a silhouette. You don't see any facial structure or anything. You just see something along.
Well, keep in mind, we were like a couple of feet back that way.
Yeah.
So, like, where we are standing right here
is right around where it happened.
Where we saw this thing move, like where it was. We were over back that way, more towards Dupre.
And see, so a shadow figure could have been what you still saw, because they can be seen in light and in darkness. So it could be daytime, it could be nighttime, and you can see these kind of things.
Yeah.
I know I've told you other stories about it. Now, there is another thing that it could have been that you saw. And this one I know that you are going to want to say no to right away, that you definitely won't want to believe in. But I'm sorry to say, my friend, I've had experience with this.
Skinwalker.
Bingo! Pennsylvania is famous for its skinwalkers, folks. So there's a very good chance that is what you saw.
Well, it depends on what kind of skinwalker you mean. Because in original Native American folklore, they are creatures that you cannot... Because pop culture has gotten the whole thing mixed up, because Native American folklore tells us they are dark creatures, witches, wizards, what have you, whatever their terms for it are.
I'm so proud of
you. That can skin change and everything, which, and even then, more about it, speaking about them is basically taboo in their culture.
Yes.
So I don't want to say too much about it because it's taboo.
Why I said I'm so proud of you is actually, one, you know the knowledge, because I was going to explain that.
Yeah.
Now, as we've said in the past, Saint Vincent, part of this college, and the monastery and Archabbey, all the stuff here in Latrobe, was built on top of Native American land.
Welcome to Stephen King novel, folks.
I know, right? So, there is a very good chance. Now, there are a few different versions of the Skinwalker, as you said. Now, because the file was corrupted, I can't tell for sure which one we could be dealing with, but there is more of a possibility that it could be a Native American Skinwalker style, just because of the land being here.
I am fully on board with just saying that, like, my like, for the first time in my life, my phone corrupted my footage, and like it was just a happy act.
Okay, yeah, it's rolling again. It's rolling again.
Oh,
yes. No, so that was kind of interesting. That just happened.
Yeah. So,
of all places, you're talking about a file being corrupted and the footage of your video just like going away, and then while we're talking about it, the camera does that to us.
Yeah.
We are actually kidding. We are actually kidding entirely. So, nothing happened. There was no glitch. The camera died because of it being so cold. The battery just got depleted.
Yeah. So we had to take a quick moment.
Yeah, we had to recharge real quick.
Yeah. So we're back now. It just worked extremely well for like the area we're in, the story that I'm telling. So like it's a funny set of, again, coincidences that have occurred.
No, and see, like we were saying, is that the Skinwalker could be something. Now, when you were talking about the file being corrupt, that's what got me to the idea of this not being a Skinwalker, but more so that it is some kind of spirit. Now, one thing that we've actually dealt with in
Did you get to be the headless monk?
No.
Oh.
No. Sorry, buddy.
I know.
That is the red thread.
I'm trying to pull the red thread again, yeah.
You are. No, I don't think this is the faceless.
Well, yeah,
headless, faceless. Hey, I mean, you could say headless just because.
Well, the gristmill's
right down there, so it could be Brother Miles. I'm kidding. No, it's not.
Yeah. It'd be hilarious though if like that was like the red thread actually does connect in a way.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah. No.
But anyway.
So no. If anything, why I believe that this is spirit is known to be able to work in different ways with technology. So one thing that we know that I've done, and I've shown you different clips, is at times, and this is actually a great segue, just going into some ideas for paranormal investigators that may be watching this, is always having cameras and audio recorders on you when you do something like that. And that's because spirit's voice cannot be heard by the naked ear. So having some kind of audio, you can actually pick up what you didn't hear when you go back and listen to it.
Yeah.
Watching video, you might see something in the video that you did not see in real life. Whether that is an orb, whether that is some kind of figure moving, it could be anything. So that is actually a great thing that you had that. It is sad that the file was corrupted. But it's kind of a question for me because you encountered something dark and mysterious. So why I think it is a spirit is because they know that you were recording and they did not want that on camera. So they somehow were able to corrupt your file there on your phone.
Yeah. Saying it like that does make me think, oh, my camera just corrupted because the battery went out and like it just couldn't save.
Yeah, but I don't think that would be it.
It would be it'd be interesting, but I mean I don't know how iPhone camera battery
Right.
saving features work, or like I don't know how iPhone
Cloud.
saves video, cloud, whatever. Yeah,
The cloud would have saved it no matter what.
I don't know how it all. I don't know how all that works. Like after
Yeah.
you stop recording, what like saves it to your camera roll or what saves it to your
Yeah.
iCloud. But like, I mean, that's what happened. That's how I experienced it. That's how I assume others experienced it. But that was my first-hand account of that.
Yeah.
Sorry
Now
about that.
no, you're good. There could have been a few other things that this could have been, but from my knowledge that I have, and as we start to move away from spirit actually towards other different unknown figures, this is actually kind of neat to be able to hear about there being the possibility of it being a skinwalker. Because I know that I've had experiences around here as well as elsewhere where skinwalkers, and like I said, there are a few different kinds. So depending on which one you're more focusing on, there are some things that can go very, very weird with them.
It's funny that you say that because afterwards, when we were back debriefing
Yeah.
at our dorm, another friend of ours came by and he said, "Oh yeah, like we wanted to try to meet up with him because he was in Dupre at the
Yeah.
time. Couldn't find him, so we just ended up coming to Jerry where we lived.
Yeah.
And told us like, oh yeah, he saw a bunch of deer out there that were like weird, like the deer scared him or something, and then kind of hinted at the story of the class.
Sorry, a hawk just flew by and it was kind of cool.
But the monk who had a class out and like
Yeah.
the deer that just stood up on its hind legs and everything.
We'll get to that story. And
Oh, yeah.
we'll also look more into skinwalkers as we progress.
It'd be a good segue
Yeah.
for the next episode to talk about like that story or like
Maybe.
stories like or a collection
Hunting
of stories.
season.
There you go.
Great one for hunting season is to tell the deer that can stand on its hind legs.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Fun.
You never know.
Yeah.
But anything else with
No,
this?
that
This is some that will need more research on. So maybe when weather gets better, we'll come back out here late one night.
God.
Yeah, well, I know that you hate this idea. You would hate it, but we'll make sure that we have lights, and maybe we'll just sit out here with a few pieces of equipment and just try and figure out, what could be happening.
Oh, that would be the freakiest thing that I could imagine happening. Like if we come back and like something on like one of the talk boxes actually says I remember, like
Oh, yeah.
along the lines of, like I remember you or like, I remember you being
Spirit does remember.
it. That would shake me pretty badly, but it would
Yeah.
be interesting. So, but
You never know.
yeah,
You never know.
like you said, I got nothing else from that. It's getting dark now. The sun's starting to go down, so
We got a little bit more time. but-
we're on the precipice of it being completely dark out, like it was.
Oh yeah, give
that
it
one
5
night,
more minutes,
so-
it'll be dark.
Yeah.
Let's just stay here for another 5 minutes with the camera rolling, see if anything happens.
No,
I'm kidding.
no,
I'm kidding.
please. I don't
Uh,
want to see that. I don't want to see that creature again if it starts like running at
they'll
us.
grab you and pull you, take it to wherever it is.
Mm-mm.
Nah, this is interesting because this is something that Jake has told me a little about. It was interesting for me to hear more of the story, just so there is a better
Yeah, I
understanding
pulled
for it.
bits and pieces,
And I will definitely look into this a little bit more because this is something that has intrigued me. But like I said, I am almost certain that it was either a shadow figure or it was a skinwalker.
I mean, I have GoPro, so we wouldn't have to
Yeah.
like hold the camera and like use one of our hands for that. Thing.
Right.
So it.
But I think that if most likely just because of the file being corrupted after you just had seen this on file, that's what brings it more to the idea of it being some kind of spirit, some kind of paranormal, just
Well,
because of that.
the thing that was weird about because like it died like as soon as we got to Jerry.
Yeah.
So if either it followed us somehow or
Which is possible.
which has happened.
Which is possible,
but-
yeah. Now,
yeah.
and see, it could have even been that it had nothing to do with your. Were you still recording when you
Yes.
left here? Okay. Because I was going to say, if you had stopped recording, and the file all of a sudden corrupted when you got back.
That was the other thing I wanted to mention as well, because I was filming, like, I filmed our reactions, us getting to there. I was planning on ending it when we got to my room,
Yeah.
but and I think if I remember correctly, I was anticipating it. Like when I was at the door and it died, I think I had stopped it right as it happened.
Got it.
So that's maybe when it corrupted again. But
Who
like,
knows?
I won't know until I am up in the great gates of the sky, confronting God Himself and saying, "Yo, what happened?"
If you remember it, then.
This is something I will.
Yeah, I
never
know.
forget.
But definitely, this is a great story. This is a great segue as we start to move away from talking about ghost stories and start moving into other different stories of the
Monster
unknown,
hunting, ooh,
different legends. God almighty.
urban legends. Come on.
Urban legends, unknown mysteries, all kinds of stuff like that. We'll start to get into more things.
Spooky dooky stuff.
We have to.
All right, I'll see myself out.
Yeah, get out of here. But with that, everybody, this comes to the end of another. He's actually going to. He's out of here. This comes to another episode of the ending of Unearthing the Unknown. So tune in next week as we start to expand into some of the other unknown stories of Western Pennsylvania. Until then, we'll see you next week. Hey there, listeners. I'm Matt Boyer, station manager of WSVC Radio. If you like what you're listening to, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell button to be notified with all of our updates. Every day, one of our shows will be releasing a new episode. Stick around and tune in.